Hi, William Henshaw here for the Constitutional Crisis channel again, and I want to talk to you about a couple of my recent cases that I've had occasion to file petitions for non-statutory writs of habeas corpus, and that's important. You don't want to use any of their statutes, especially not 28 U.S.C. 2254. You might get away with Section 14 of the Judiciary Act of 1789. That's a good one. Other than that, you don't want to deal with statutes. That's a subject for another video. But what's happened here, I had a conviction against me in a traffic case, and I said, well, what the hell is this? And I had no way to challenge jurisdiction like we've been talking about. They didn't provide the law. And I took the writ and said, wait a minute, I never had a chance to put a defense on. Well, what I get back was this order from a local judge, and I think she did as much as she thought she could to help me here. And it's a big help. So I'm going to read this a bit. You'll see what's going on here. It says, the court has received, not filed by the way, received, and this somehow got a case number. I've been wondering about that for a long time. My petition, filed in June of 2013, the grounds alleged in the petition include questions as to whether California is a state or a territory, whether principal officers of the territory must be appointed by the president, whether the territorial offices must be filled by free white inhabitants of the territory, whether the Reconstruction Act of 1867 is unconstitutional, and whether the 14th War Amendment was properly ratified. Well, it goes on to say that these questions raised by the petition are beyond the jurisdiction of California courts, as they appear to present federal questions. What they're saying there, if you know what you're doing here and read between the lines, they're saying that California is not a state. They don't have this concurrent jurisdiction, yet the first Judiciary Act of 1789 says, oh, yes, you do, sections 9 and 11. Where did it go after 225 years, you might ask? A good question. With that in mind, I sent the same petition to the California Supreme Court, and look at what happens here. This is somewhat simpler, and I get it back from the clerk of court, and it says, returned unfiled yet again is your petition for writ of habeas corpus. The questions presented are beyond the jurisdiction of the courts of California, as they appear to present federal questions. That's a gotcha. They're saying, in effect, we're not a state court, we can't help you. I would have liked it if they could have told me where to go to find a state court that could. That would have been real good. And this is by the clerk of court. Now think about this one. Where does the clerk have the authority to exercise the judicial power of the state of California? And this writ, by the way, was addressed to the Chief Justice and the Associate Justices, not the court. This guy had no business getting involved unless he was ordered to do it by the Chief Justice, and if that's the case, that's treason to the Constitution, a current charge pending in the United States Department of Justice, for whatever good that may ultimately do me. But when they refuse to take jurisdiction like that, the Supreme Court has said that's treason to the Constitution. Case is Cohens versus State of Virginia, 19 U.S. 264, a case you should be thoroughly familiar with. I'll be doing a video on that one before long too, and get you up to speed on it. But that's treason. They can't do it, and yet they're doing it. And the only way they can do that is if they assume A, the 14th War Amendment was validly ratified, and it isn't, and or B, that all of us owe our citizenship, quote unquote, to that amendment. That's also not true. As I mentioned earlier, the California Supreme Court contemporaneously in 1872 said that no white person owes their citizenship to the recently adopted amendment. Case is Valkenburg, that's Valkenburg versus Brown, Brown, not Moonbeam, 43 Cal 43. It's right there. This is dead bang evidence of the type I've been telling you I have in my videos. This is part of what I'm telling you right here. State versus territory. This is what they call on the local sports channel, winner, winner, chicken dinner. They got nowhere to go with this one. Now, these documents we've been discussing will be available, at my email at ccaspari@live.com. And these will include, in the case of the local judge, I sent her a thank you letter for doing what she did. And the letter, I sent a rejoinder to the California Supreme Court for doing what they did. And these documents will be included in these. You can read exactly what I had to say here. But state versus territory, I mean, if there was any question about it before, there isn't one now. Thank you.